flexing that ankle. And golly, this late in the game, it's really the last thing any basketball fan wants to see. Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's brightest star, goes down again. And suddenly the entire league is just holding its breath. This isn't just another knock. This feels different. It's her second major lower body setback this season. And for Indiana Fever fans, well, frustration has pretty much boiled over into outright fury because this injury, a lot of people are saying, never should have happened. Okay, before we dive deeper, if you're invested in Caitlin's recovery, maybe hit that like button, drop a heart in the comments, show some support. The WNBA needs her, like now more than ever. And we're about to break down exactly why this feels so wrong. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're unpacking something that's really shaking up the sports world, these escalating injury concerns around Caitlin Clark. She's undeniably the face of the WNBA right now, and it's not just about one player. It's about a whole situation that many fans feel has been, frankly, mishandled from the jump.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating here, I think, is how one player's health can kind of shine a light on deeper, maybe systemic issues within a league. So our mission for this deep dive is to really explore why this whole situation has generated such intense frustration, what warning signs were missed, and, critically, how could this impact the entire WNBA moving forward, not just this season, but like the long term.
Okay, let's get right into it. Caitlin Clark is, there's no debate, right? She's the heartbeat of the Fever, the face of the league. She's the reason millions are tuning in. But now, for the second time this year, she's sidelined. Lower body injury, specifically a groin strain. And anyone who follows sports knows those are tricky. They can linger. Her head coach, Stephanie White, is calling it day-to-day.
But that phrase, I think that's where a lot of the fan frustration starts, doesn't it? It just doesn't quite match what people are seeing. Yeah, day-to-day feels insufficient, maybe. And you're right. The key thing here is fans aren't just worried anymore. They're actively losing trust. Trust in the Indiana Fever coaching staff specifically. This isn't being seen as just bad luck. It's being framed as a direct result of, poor decisions, questionable rotations, and, well, some are calling it flat-out reckless risk management. Think about it. Subbing your franchise star back in with 8 seconds left when she was already visibly limping after weeks of playing through obvious pain.
Yeah.
Fans see that, and they see it as a, quote, failure of leadership. It's really fueling the outrage you see online and everywhere else. It feels like a disconnect.
It really is incredible how fast that shift happens from just concern to actual fury. So, okay, beyond this specific groin strain, What does this mean right now for the team dynamics, for the fans who are so invested? Is this just about this one moment, or is there like a pattern here where there are missed signals leading up to this?
Oh, absolutely. If you connect the dots, the signs were, well, they were pretty obvious, almost literally written on her body. Just weeks ago, remember, Clark was seen with heavy strapping, first on her quad, then a thick wrap after that initial injury scare, and she visibly wasn't herself on the court, shooting, 1 for 23 from deep in that recent stretch?
Yeah.
Moving gingerly, hesitant to drive to the basket, constantly clutching or flexing that left leg. These weren't like subtle hints. They felt like glaring red flags, For anyone watching, it clearly suggested she was pushing through something significant.
It really sounds like fans, analysts, basically anyone paying attention were sounding the alarm bells pretty loudly. So if everyone else could see it, why wasn't she just given a real break to heal? What's the thinking there from the coaching staff? Why keep putting her out there if she was so obviously compromised? Is it pressure from above? Is it her own competitiveness or something else?
Well, that gets to the heart of the pattern, doesn't it? This perception that the coaching staff kept rushing her back. And the result, well, it looks like a pretty clear, almost textbook progression of injuries. First, the quad scare, then more tightness reported, and now this groin strain, which again is notorious for lingering if you don't respect the healing time. This isn't just random bad luck. It feels like a predictable biomechanical thing. When you compensate for one injury, say the quad, your body naturally shifts the load. It tries to stabilize itself, and that stress often goes straight to adjacent areas like the groin or the hamstring. It's classic compensation.
Right.
We see it all the time in sports medicine. You start stacking injuries. And every fan could practically see it coming. It creates this awful sense of inevitability.
And those coaches' press conferences, the whole day-to-day thing, just doesn't seem to be calming anyone down. If anything, it might be making it worse because it feels like it ignores what people are seeing on the court. Plus, there were those reports, right, about Dana Evans requesting to sit out because she wasn't in the rotation. That kind of suggests maybe there are broader issues with player management or communication, doesn't it? It seems bigger than just Caitlin.
Precisely. It paints a picture, or at least a perceived picture, of a pattern, rushing players back, ignoring warning signs, and potentially potentially putting the long-term future of the team, maybe even the league's momentum, at risk for what? Short-term results that weren't even happening anyway.
Yeah.
That decision to sub Clark back in with seconds left in a blowout, many see that as just coaching malpractice. Pure and simple. It makes you wonder about the priorities. Is it player health, long-term success, or something else? It erodes trust for sure.
Okay, now this is where it gets, I think, even more complex. Because this isn't just about the Indiana Fever's decisions, is it? Some people are arguing the WNBA itself, maybe unintentionally, has kind of failed Clark, and maybe other stars too, failed them by allowing a certain, let's call it culture of play, particularly around officiating.
Yeah, that's a huge part of the conversation. The officiating, it's almost become like an open secret. The apparent strategy to beat Indiana, or at least slow Clark down, is to hack, shove, and bully. Why? Because the perception is the refs aren't consistently calling it. So what happens? Opponents double down on the physicality, sometimes, frankly, to a dangerous level. Clark's been on the receiving end of eye pokes, body checks, jersey grabs, hits to the shoulder and arm, stuff that looks way beyond normal basketball contact. It doesn't just feel like rough play. Many see it as a systematic attempt to neutralize her, knowing the whistle might not blow. There's talk this isn't new either, maybe a trend over recent seasons.
I remember seeing that clip from the Connecticut game. It was pretty jarring. Clark being twisted at the shoulder by a defender, clear as day, nothing, no whistle. That's the kind of play that makes fans just throw up their hands and ask, what is going on?
Yeah.
Is there some kind of different standard for her? It's baffling.
And it's not just her, you're right. We saw Jade Melbourne take that elbow, get her teeth knocked out. That was brutal. A lot of people, former players, coaches, analysts, they believe the WNBA has kind of lost control of the game's physicality, allowed it to escalate beyond what's safe or fair. And this connects back to Clark's offseason too, right? She clearly added muscle. Not just for show, it seemed like a necessity to survive the beating she expected. But, rapid strength gains can sometimes mess with biomechanics. It can put new stresses on the body.
Ah, interesting point.
So the big question becomes, why isn't the league seemingly doing more to enforce its own rules, to protect its biggest stars? You look at the NBA with LeBron, or the NHL with McDavid. There's an understanding you protect those assets. Is that same standard being applied here? It feels like maybe not, and that's putting the league's biggest draw at risk.
Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. We've got the coaching decisions, the missed warning signs, this escalating physicality, the questions about officiating. What does it all mean for the big picture? Because let's be real, Caitlin Clark isn't just carrying the fever. She feels like she's carrying the entire WNBA right now. The numbers, the buzz, the new fans. Her health seems completely tied to the league's trajectory at this moment.
That really is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? What happens if she's out? Really out for a significant stretch? The data couldn't be clearer. When she doesn't play, ratings plummet. We're talking over 50% drops. Ticket sales dry up. The social media buzz fades. Merchandise sales stall, remember her return game against the Liberty, drew 2.2 million viewers, peaked near 2.9 million. That's one of the most watched games in league history.
Incredible numbers.
That's not just a small bump. That's a fundamental shift in audience size. And it hinges almost entirely on her being on that court. You feel that energy shift.
And the timing. I mean, if she misses major events, like the Commissioner's Cup final, the All-Star Game. These are showcase events designed specifically to capture this new wave of interest. If she's not there, the league feels that impact immediately. In their wallets, yes, but also in media coverage, in that crucial momentum they've built. That kind of energy, once you lose it, it's really, really hard to get back, isn't it? Especially for a league that's fought so hard for the spotlight.
Absolutely. And it goes way beyond just the games themselves. Think about the upcoming CBA negotiations, player salaries, league structure, everything. Think about the huge sponsorship deals that are finally rolling in, largely thanks to her impact. The entire growth path of women's basketball feels accelerated right now. If you lose Clark, even for just this season, you risk stalling and maybe even reversing a decade's worth of progress. It sounds dramatic, but it might be true. If she's forced out long-term, maybe her career is shortened because of all this, the load management issues, the uncalled fouls, the physical toll. Then the WNBA faces a genuine crisis. Ratings crash. Sponsors could get nervous. The next generation of stars loses their biggest inspiration. The whole power dynamic between players in the league could shift. The Caitlin Clark effect. It's not hype. It's the economic and cultural reality. Her incredible success has, in a way, magnified every potential vulnerability in the system.
So it really boils down to this, doesn't it? For every fan, coach, league exec listening right now, do you actually want a league without Caitlin Clark playing in it.
Well,
Because that feels like the potential path we're on, if something fundamental doesn't change, then soon.
It really forces some hard questions about player protection versus, short-term gains. What's the long-term vision here? Should the WNBA step up its enforcement, protect stars better through officiating clear safety protocols? Or does the responsibility fall solely on Indiana? Should they make the tough call, bench her until she's absolutely 110% ready, regardless of the immediate fallout? It's a really tough spot. No easy answers. What do you think is the right way forward here?
yeah. What do you think? If you're still listening and thinking about this, maybe drop a basketball emoji in the comments. Let us know your take. What's the most responsible path for Caitlin, for the Fever, and for the WNBA as a whole? We really want to hear your thoughts. And make sure you subscribe for more updates. We'll be following this closely. We're not letting this story go until something changes. Because honestly, the future of the WNBA feels like it really depends on getting this right.